Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? All right. Cool. Everybody hear me okay? We'll do a little mic check, stream health check. I'm going for the YouTube and on Twitter, X today. So internet should be all fine, hopefully. And yeah, we will take a look at what's going on. Let me just turn the volume on my laptop down a bit because the music's a little bit annoying my end. If the music's okay for you, then that's good. Nice to have a little bit of background music, but I don't want it to be in my face too much. Cool. All right, who do we have here today? We got Stego. Let's go. Nene. Jambi. Andy. Jishroom. Lucifer. Cons. Nudge. Welcome. All right. Andy, haven't seen you in years. Yeah, it's been a while. Again. Yeah, it's definitely a struggle to keep up any kind of consistency when it comes to live streams when I'm traveling around and stuff. But once again, we get these little, I get these pockets of time when I have much better availability. And now is one of those nice long pockets of time when I have one pretty decent availability. So for the next couple of months, it should be, yeah, good. I'll be seeing you guys a couple of times a week. I'm very sure of that. Managed to free up my schedule nicely. Still very, very busy with stuff, but going to be able to be doing a lot more of those. For like the last week or two, I've been focusing more so on just getting myself back into trading because I'd gone like a month without really like taking any kind of trades, without really looking at the market so much. And yeah, getting myself back into the flow last week. Was a little bit ill last week as well. This week, getting back to the cruise stuff again, trading rooms, all of that, updates and things. And yeah, now back to the public updates. So very, very good to be here. Good to see you all. It's going to be a quiet one today, I would expect, because I've not streamed for a while. So people have forgotten about me. But I'll do my very best to yeah, get people back on side, get people back into the streams, especially as the market is potentially heating up once again now. The timing of these things is like every time, it always seems to be the case, and it seems to be the case for most of this year. Like I just time it really well. I don't know how, but I just seem to time it really well. Like I did update a couple of days ago and was saying, right, okay, at that time we were holding around the POC like at the beginning of the week, and I was like, this is looking good, this is looking decent. I think now's the time where you start to really need to start paying attention again after we'd had all this sideways stuff for a while. And yeah, yesterday during the trading room and also in the morning, I was like, I think today's the day, guys, because we hadn't really had any kind of volatility to speak of. We have no news, no data this week to affect the markets. The likes of the NASDAQ and ES at all-time highs and crypto lagging behind. So I really did feel like when I did the trading room yesterday, I was like, yeah, this is looking good. I think today's looking like a good day. And as we've seen, we've had a decent breakup, well, a very decent breakup to take all-time highs again. So it's very, very interesting. Pretty happy with what I'm seeing. Some nice profits because I've just been holding some like long exposure for the last month or two. And yeah, now getting that like, well, I mean, market's kind of pumping again, which is great. I see in the chat, Lucifer saying bear market starts today, fade this SFP, die. Of course, there is potential for that. Because what did we do last time? We took all-time highs after kind of similar structure, I guess, where we had like A nice rally, like this nice rally, spikes into the low, come up, sweep the highs, come up, sweep the highs, and then dump. There is potential that we could get that move down to like 90k or something, but I'm being positive here. It also looks very similar to what happened within this range here, right? Where you had this nice rounding off, this one being a lot quicker. You had the SFP of these highs back here, and then we got a real decent like push up towards 100k and to break 100k afterwards. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens with the market. For myself, I don't think we have any kind of like back here. It was, I mean, we had the Trump inauguration. We knew that there was likely to be a whole load of crazy shenanigans going on within Trump's like first few months. And I said this a lot, like the first 100 days of his presidency is likely to be like volatile, erratic, pretty crazy. Things seem to have settled down now. We actually had, there were tariff announcements yesterday. There's like, he's pushed more tariffs on countries, and nothing happened, and we're getting another move higher. So I'm feeling like at the moment this is pretty good. I've said this so many times that I have a end of the year, sort of October, November kind of time frame for when this market actually peaks. And this is about the right time for us to really start to send it if we are going to peak around that, like around like, well, within the next 4, 5, 6 months, if we are going to get that peak towards the end of this year, that like big ass bull market top, altcoins running, all of this kind of thing. The timing of this is like, it's just when you really would have wanted to see it. Now, we do of course have like some other stuff. It is the summer, but we've seen within previous cycles that during like the like actual like bull market climax year, the summer seems to be just a pretty steady, just climb, rather than those slow, like those long, slow, boring summers that we see 3 out of 4 times. Like, so 3 out of 4 years, we tend to get those long, slow summers. And then when we do get like this year, we're expecting a top. I'm thinking volatility would stay low and we just get a nice climb up towards like wherever that's going to take us, whether it's going to be like 130, 140, 180, whatever number this market ends up at. I think there's a good few months in which the market can do that. So I'm being positive. I am positioned for this scenario. I am overall long, like my exposure is long in the market. I believe, like I say, I've repeated this a number of times, the upside reward greatly outweighs the downside risk, within crypto in general. And I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing now. So I'm going to we'll do some TA. We'll keep it sensible. We'll keep it like I say, I'm open to either scenario here. If it pumps to new all-time highs, great. That's the plan that I've had. If we do get a dump, then I'll explain like maybe what I'm like, how I'm looking to I'm getting distracted because my phone's pinging. How I would like protect myself from any downside, and we'll just take a general look at the market. So first of all, Bitcoin, not a whole lot to say really. It took out all-time highs by a tiny little bit. We've had a retrace. We're holding within, we're holding within an area where we had rejected from previously. It's similar, all right? The kind of structure we have back here and what we're seeing right here, again, it's similar. I would be very surprised if this is the actual top. I'd quite like to see it because we have New York session coming up, and if we do get another SFP of the SFP, and that'd be cool. I think if I am looking for any short positions, it would likely be with like a spike up locally to those highs once again here, rather than just like a bar back down. And mainly because I don't really see any way to trade this as it is at the moment. I certainly wouldn't be longing it right here, and I think because we've already seen a decent pullback, it's not a place where I would be getting into a short straight away either, because if you're looking for a position like as it is here with an invalidation at these highs, and you can't really guarantee anything more than just a like filling this gap right now, I don't think the risk to reward is quite there at the moment. So for a trade, I'd be looking at like for something like this that comes up towards these highs again, maybe sweeps the highs, maybe fails like above these internal ones, and then maybe looking for a short here or something like that. But we'll see how this session goes. I'm not going to do too much on Bitcoin really, because that's kind of that, right? It just, I mean, how long did it spend above all-time highs? I was sleeping when it did this. Where is it? Like what? A few seconds? Yeah. Yeah. Was I sleeping when it did this? No, I was awake, but I in the mornings at the moment. I'm very, very busy. Less than 30 seconds. Yeah, like 30 seconds it spent above all-time highs, and then just immediate rejection. So interesting. I don't know how long it spent above all-time highs when it did this. I mean, it again, it had a couple of attempts at it, didn't it? So it spent the best part of a day trying to break out, wasn't able to do it. And then we clearly got that big, long, dumpy earlier on in the year. So, yeah. Wait and see what happens. Helen, are we trading indices today? I'll be looking at them, absolutely. So we have 12 minutes to go until New York Open. I think this is the stuff that's a bit nicer to trade right now. I've had a couple of really nice days. So basically on Wednesday I was doing I had a one-to-one call, and this the market just did exactly like no, this was back here. What was it? Tuesday. This on this day during New York, did everything I wanted it to do. Yesterday, same scenario. So we had the trading room yesterday, and this was just like it was amazing. I think we hit got 7 out of 7 trades during this session. I got a little bit things got a little bit crazy down at these lows. I started just playing around with stuff, but still getting these little scalps. And yeah, but the actual session itself was really, really nice. And yesterday I did, for any of those who are in the trading room, I'm just gonna run back to New York yesterday. So we saw it take all-time highs, previous week highs, managed to get those short positions back down. All right, that happened. Managed to get a couple of scalps down here, and at the time when we ended the call, what was it that I was saying? It was like, right, statistics say, okay, that we are going to get a green New York session, right? So it will close green, which essentially meant that we will close above here, right? So the session would close above, where was it, 22,979. The probability greatly suggested that would be the case. But also the probabilities suggested that because we did take out the initial balance lows afterwards, that we would not be breaking those highs again on that day. So I was saying that the very, very, very strong probability here is that we end up with a range bound day and we close somewhere within this. And where did it close? It was exactly within this imbalance. So the market was just very, very efficient yesterday, managed to do everything that it needed to do. It did close green. It didn't take out those highs. The probabilities were perfect there. And then we've just seen kind of continuation and consolidation here. So when we go into today, what I am immediately looking for right now is as long as the NQ closes London above 23,025, right? That is, yeah, that was our, where was our London open? Was that a green candle? No, 23,020. So as long as London's closing above here, then we're likely to get a green New York session, which would probably mean that we're going to take all-time highs again on the NQ today. So this is like 60. I need to check my stats. What they are most recently. Last time I checked, it was around about 62%. And yeah, so we'll be looking for a green session today. That doesn't mean that we can't come down, drop, and then just close up here somewhere, like below all-time highs still. But I am looking for a green session during New York. That would be the bias because London has traded above Asia. And every time that we do get that, we do get this continuation. So London trading above Asia, New York then trades above London. London, on this case, trading, well, what was it here? It was a flat session there. So London trading within Asia, and then you get the range bound day. London trades below Asia, then you get the move down. London trading below Asia, and then you get a red close. London trading above Asia, and then you get a green close. On this occasion, it didn't happen. Okay, that kind of changes the trend there. London trading below Asia, and then you get a red, and so on and so on. London trading above Asia, you spend most of the time below, but then you actually do close green. So yeah, that's kind of nice. We're looking at that. What else could we be looking for? Last 8 minutes. We'll just look at the market. This is the nice thing about when I'm like about scalping, about this kind of thing. You don't really need to know where we are. I have some levels on the chart, but all this kind of thing, I don't take into account too much the statistics when I'm actually trading this, because actually I quite like to trade against the trend, especially when scalping. I prefer to trade against it, which is a little bit crazy, but to see the opportunity for reversals and not to trade against the trend. It's to, you'll see you'll see when we get started. But yeah, we are almost there. I'm going to put this down. When we start this, I'm going to be doing this on like the 30-second time frame. So yeah, we'll do that. I probably need to slow down a little bit, but I'm trying to fit everything in before we do get started. What else do we have? Ethereum, really nice. So Ethereum, we've been trading within this range, came up, deviation above the highs, down below the lows, anchored VWAP from its cycle low, holding, bouncing. We had this consolidation around the POC, and then a really decent move up here with ETH BTC. Now, yesterday I was expecting volatility, right? So I knew volatility was quite likely. I wasn't sure and at this stage, I did say this. I said this in a tweet yesterday, and also within the crew. I was like, right, we're at the midpoint of the channel. We're either going to get one of two things here. It's going to be an impulse that breaks through, in which case, great, or it's going to be one of those staircase up, elevator down kind of situations. So we knew volatility was coming with Ethereum in particular, and with altcoins in particular. My bias was that we would push up. I thought that looked like the more attractive direction, the more attractive trade. But I was very wary that we could see another situation where we do get this just steady rise and then boom. And then you get that event, which then gives us still an opportunity to long, but just not so much of, I guess, an opportunity. ETH BTC now, with the technicals here, I guess we're still just looking at this kind of range. I would really like to see a move up to 0.03 on ETH BTC. I am feeling that would be, I mean, I'm long, so that would be really, really nice. And I've been holding this long position for a while, like since back here somewhere. So it would be really, really nice. We are at some kind of, I guess we are at resistance, so we can mark up. I mean, we clearly are at resistance, right? It's rejected here 1, 2, 3 times. We're not quite up at those range highs just yet, but you do need to be cautious here. I think the midpoint was a little bit more of a, if we were going to reject, then I was looking a bit more for it there. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this. Bitcoin dominance. Once again, we had this like move up to 66%, took out the highs, decent rejection. I was thinking downside looks good. We have taken out some internal lows here today. So these have gone. I would like to see, or delete that, it doesn't need to be there anymore. It's there if it's on the daily chart. This is the thing with like the ETH BTC pair. It's kind of silly. I'd like to see some more downside. I'd like to see some acceleration down on this. But once again, we do have to be a little bit cautious here. Is there anything else that we can really say with this? We can draw a little trend line. We're miles away from that. Take it all the way from back here. We'll be breaking down from this. You take it from here and it almost looks, I think I had this before, and this was when I was thinking, okay, we could make a lower high and then continuation lower. I was wrong on that idea, but we can see how, it's a trend line, I don't care. But it's there, right? It's there. Anything else to be said on this? Not too much. 3 minutes to go. Biggest mover of the day has been Pengu, which I'm very happy about. So another one that I am long on. I've been long since back here and managed to time that really well. So Pengu looking up to around about 0.025. Gold, nothing to say. I'm short gold from 3,400. It's not doing anything. So yeah, we'll look at NQ. Let's just watch this. We're going to take out these highs before they open here. So I'll just put that on here. That's the London high. It's going to go, right? And as we're streaming, let's do some paper trading. Only paper, but I'll try and talk this through in the most sensible way I can. Here we go. There goes the highs, so that's no longer the London highs. They're over here somewhere. How to fight procrastination and brain fog when trying to study learn. I have no idea. I have no idea. If anyone has an answer to that, please let me know, because I feel like I am fucking terrible at that. I like I've said like so many times, I am really, really bad at that. You can see it even on streams, like how easily distracted I am by anything, how I don't concentrate with anything very often. I'm like ADHD as fuck. It's not. I have never found anything that's helped with it ever, and you just have to deal with it. Just know that it's a weakness. For me, I've never found anything that helps with that. Keep in mind, Bezos unloaded 2 clips, one 700 million and 666 million last week. Last time he did this was in 2021. Also, Zuckerberg is unloading some clips. Yeah, whatever. I don't care what those people are doing. All right. Blue Raincoat says, take stimulants for procrastination and brain fog. Yeah. The other thing as well, I don't know if this is just like complete nonsense, but I have this weird thing, like, since I don't this is like going back 3 years, but I swear, like, I feel like I've become 10 times worse, like after COVID, right? I knew I was really bad at concentrating before, but it felt like after I got COVID, it just killed me. Check the volume on NQ daily. What is the volume like on the NQ? I have no idea how you folks are bullish. Fair enough. Volume dying. Well, yeah, it will be. That's what happens. So if volume is dying, it means we're not, like, it's highly unlikely that we've reached a top, right? You do not top on low volume. If we were coming up towards resistance and it was on low volume, then yeah, it can sweep. But markets don't top, macro top on low volume. You need to have excess somewhere. So what are we getting right now? Bitcoin's. Let's watch. So yeah, we have got. So we did take out highs, clearly. So it's got to come down here. I'm going to turn this on. And I can start to explain things, explain what I'm looking at. So I don't care about the macro anymore. We're just going to look at what's going on within this session. I know this looks crazy, but it's nothing, right? Decent chance Trump barks again in a bit now soon because he got his bill passed. Yeah. I think immediately I wasn't really paying attention here, but because we took out London highs, it would have been like a very, very simple short. We'll give this some time. Because this would have been within tolerance for sure. London was very, 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 very flat. So we're looking at levels of support. I mean, realistically, if you're looking for any kind of longs you'd want to be taking out, you'd want to be coming down here somewhere to get another move higher. At least initially. This is like, so, I mean, yesterday we had to move up to begin with, right? But we did afterwards. This was, where was it? Yeah, we did get this real nice. I mean, it wasn't really a dump. This was just as NQ pulled back, and that was enough to send it to new all-time highs. So if we're going to go higher, it does need to go down first. Back to this. I don't know why, but when I'm doing like, I think it's because I'm aware that I'm on camera and I want to keep talking when I'm doing a live stream. So I always feel that I've got to talk about something all the time. I'm much more like self-aware when I'm doing a stream than when I'm doing a trading room or when I'm just talking to someone like on a normal call or anything like that. So it's weird. I find it strange looking at like just watching one market when I'm on a live stream, because I feel like I've got to please everyone and talk all the time. Because when I'm silent, it's awkward, right? So I keep flicking back and forth, and this is when I get like super distracted by everything. So yeah, feel free to keep the questions coming in until I see some kind of trade. I'm going to place an alert down here. London lows. This doesn't look like a low to me yet, but we could range. Market's been ranging for a while. I wouldn't yet be willing to call this range low for the session, or like initial balance low, opening range low, or anything like that. I expect, oh wait, where are we? First question, do you use Elliott Wave? I don't use Elliott Wave, no. I understand a bit of the theory. I use some, rather than Elliott Wave, I do use some Wyckoff stuff. I'm aware of waves. I'm aware of harmonics. I'm aware of like piecing the market together in that way, but I'm not analyzing the market from that perspective. You can't trade. For me, like trading is, if you want to analyze the market and not trade, then fine. You can just use Elliott Wave and just think. To me, like I know TA is kind of astrology for men, but Elliott Wave is like the ultimate astrology for men, and it doesn't help with actually trading, in my opinion. Or astrology, even just astrology for traders. I don't say like, of course women trade too, but that's like the meme, isn't it? That TA is astrology for men. And Elliott Wave's the ultimate version of that. Like I trade off of like three things: liquidity, balance, imbalance, and volume. Nothing else. And generally speaking, all three of those things happen at the same time. All right, well, this is a very slow opening. 10 minutes. Are you expecting light pullbacks from BTC during the cycle, or just parabolic rally without letting any entries similar to 2021? I don't really think we get parabolic. Not with what light pullbacks from BTC. So the question was about BTC. No, I don't think we could do. Like the market's so different now. I can speak a little bit more about that. We need to take these lows here. This isn't going to be a long. I think we will keep getting pullbacks, and it will just happen. Like every time we take a high, it will keep happening. If we're going to be going higher, I think it just gradually, the volatility just gradually starts to diminish. So what I've seen previously, and this is also the case with equities, with the NQ, with ES, what we tend to see is, right, let's say the market breaks all-time high, or a previous all-time high, and it comes up and it comes up. First of all, you get a big dump. Then it comes up again and you get a slightly smaller dump. Comes up again, you get a slightly smaller dump, and each time the highs become bigger, and it does lead eventually to some kind of parabolic thing. But on every single occasion, you do get pullbacks. So we've taken all-time high again. I do think we get a pullback. But it doesn't change my outlook overall. So how deep that pullback is, whether it happens today or whether we do go sweep the highs again and we just put in a little bit of price discovery first, then I don't know. But there will be another pullback, and it will happen. To begin with, and again, I don't know. This is kind of just guessing. To start with, even if we're going to be bullish for a few months, it will start off and it will be regular, and it will be like the pullbacks will be regular and they'll be consistent, and it will keep happening. But on each occasion, it's a little bit less of a pullback. It's a little bit like, I don't know. I'll try and find an example. And the pullbacks become less frequent gradually. That to me is how we will, like, yeah, get any continuation. It's just by gradually just, and this is what we've seen, like pullbacks are getting shallower. They have been for a while. So yeah. Non-trolling comment, but what if BTCD remains sideways at the highs for months like it did at the lows during the bear market? Everyone expects it to collapse, but what if it doesn't? Again, similar thing. I don't think... I'm... Alright. So, I'm very, very skeptical on altcoins as a whole. The thing is, I do think... And the reason for this, like, we know this, the market's like massively saturated. There's way too many altcoins. The vast majority of them, I do think, continues to go to zero. And what we've been seeing recently, there's nothing happening here, so I'm just going to go to another thing. If we have alerts, let's just see if we do push up into here. We'll get pinged if it takes London lows. We'll get pinged if it comes up towards these highs. But yeah, Bitcoin dominance, I mean, sure, it could dump. I think that would be like, that would be back to crypto of the past. I don't know if we're still there anymore. The cycle hasn't actually played out that much differently. It's only been altcoins that have played out differently this time. And I think altcoin sentiment is so low that, once again, like, potential upside reward does greatly outweigh the downside risk when it comes to alts, because they've all been just hammered for so long that it makes sense to have some exposure to them, because that's where the multipliers are going to be. But still, I do think that even if Bitcoin's doing this, right, it ranges and it moves up, it ranges and then it moves up, and then it pulls back a bit and then it moves up. Even if Bitcoin's doing this, the thing that we've seen recently with altcoins is that during these ranges, the altcoin's dumping, right, because it can't hold on. And I'll do it from here, right? This is what we've seen so far this cycle, and I do think in general this carries on for most alts, is that you have this range, right? And then Bitcoin gets a bit of a move up, and then during the next range, the alts make new lows, blah, 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 blah. Bitcoin gets, fuck's sake, down, a bit of a rally, down, a bit of a rally, down, a bit of a rally, down. You get the idea, right? So for every time Bitcoin impulses up, it's like kind of a dead cat bounce for altcoins. And then it can't sustain any of those highs and so on. And that's what we've continuously seen recently. Now, I think there will be a rotation at some point. I think we do get at least, like, here we go. All right, taking the lows. Finally, still, this isn't still looking very interesting at all here. Come on. Down. But yeah, we're going to get some altcoins that perform really well. And still, in this market, it's just going to be more difficult. I don't think we're ever going to see a situation where we have an alt season where everything pumps again. I think we're going to see good projects do well, bad projects not do well. And the 99.9% of projects are bad. 99% of alts are bad projects. So that's what I think we see is it continues to be the case where most altcoins will just fall away to zero, which I think will be very, very healthy, and I will be very happy with that. But yeah, we will get some that do perform better. The thing with Bitcoin dominance is it's basically just ETH BTC, and I think ETH BTC looks pretty good. So Bitcoin dominance could collapse, but still the vast majority of alts could do really shit. So yeah, that's kind of my thinking with this. What is this doing? This is so... Is that all we're going to get? Right. We're 27 minutes into it. Now, again, statistics, the market is going to come back here during the initial balance. Highly likely. Now, if we are going to be bullish, if we are going to get a rotation, this is going to hold. So I'm going to do this because I'm bored. And because it's just a paper trade. We'll try a long here. I'm not feeling this low at all, but whatever. Nah, I'm bored. We could try this again. It's typical. This didn't happen yesterday. It was nice. I want to see a proper low being put in. Now we've taken the London lows. Good. Good, good, good. What else is going on? There's nothing happening. What? I thought today would be kind of interesting. Just keep it on here. This is just so slow. So we have a similar kind of thing here. Still doesn't look good. Anyone in the chat, again, this This is a silly session. Because you compare this to like what happened yesterday. It was, I mean, yesterday we were waiting a long time, actually, to be fair. We were waiting like half an hour to get the first trade of the day yesterday, and then things started to become really interesting. So it did happen yesterday. Day before was a lot better, but yesterday we were waiting for half an hour to get a trade. Now, the nice thing about what happened yesterday is we did take out highs. We did hit that previous all-time high, the previous week high. So that gave us a basis to take a trade from. And at the moment, we just are kind of lacking anything, really. Like the closest like internal lows we've got are down here. So we can come back there very easily. It has a similar kind of situation with Bitcoin. There's nothing unless we're going to go down to like 108,500 in terms of downside. That you'd want to actually take a trade from. Ethereum's not doing anything. ES not doing anything. Like nothing's happening. So we got to rely on the NQ here. This is the only thing that's actually moving right now. And even that is not moving very much. Most interesting point for me would be down here. Alright, there goes ALO. Weekly open. Not the most significant level out there for Nasdaq. Still just really low. Just very, very slow. Very, very slow today. This would have actually been an opportunity to short it. Where's the VWAP from the open? Let me go get some water whilst I wait. Sorry, my chair is very noisy. Back in a sec. Okay. Focus. Good. All right. Somebody talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Same kind of situation. We just keep getting this. All right. Just a little bit of move up, boom, down again. Let's do alts. Yeah, if anyone has any altcoins, so we can do some more like high time frame stuff. And we'll come back to this. It's got to half an hour, so we're getting to the point where we can see a rotation because there's still a pretty decent probability that we do come back up towards these highs within the next 30 minutes. So post some stuff, then I'll have a look at some charts. Like I say, it is quite likely we do pivot within the next 5-10 minutes or so. But again, probabilities is just there, like it just happens more often than not. So it might not happen. It might not happen. Do you think XRP will be worth more than Bitcoin in the long run, decades, considering it's poised to be the chosen crypto of ISO 222 what? Standards for banking derivatives market, RWA bonds worldwide? No. No. I do not think XRP will be worth more than Bitcoin. In both market cap and like obviously not in price, all right? XRP is never ever like ever going to be worth 100k for a token. That's I mean, but you're not really asking that. But in terms of market cap, also no. Yeah, it's also a no. ADA, but I'll still look at XRP in a minute because I think it looks good here. I think I do like XRP as from a technical perspective. Hey, this is the first time. This is the first time we've seen a potential, like actual, like nice candle at the lows here. I think, right? This. No, this is better. That could be a low. Could. If it is going to be a low, then this holds. And we can get continuation now. It's the first time we've seen any kind of maybe low. It's not going to happen. This candle's going to close back in here. All right. Nope. All right, we carry on. So we'll keep going down a little bit more. Yeah, all right, let's go on some altcoins for a bit. Because again, that could have been the point. Now we've started a new 30-minute candle. I do want to watch. All right, let's go to. So we'll do XRP ADA, right? See if we have a fresh chart. And we'll just start. Right now would not be the time to be bullish, though. At this very moment, I think this would have been back here. Funny thing is, the more I'm looking at this now, the worse everything's starting to look. For our AB. At the moment, so again, in the long run, we have just taken all-time highs, so it's not the time to be taking longs at all, right? So yeah, XRP is looking more of a short here. And it could be a real simple invalidation of this if we just come above these highs, right? So XRP is looking more like a short. So there is still that potential for this, again, we've had a bit of a staircase up. We've had a little bit of put in a little bit of a high today and maybe a bit of a dump. Maybe I'll look for a short on XRP. Maybe I actually look for this right now. Because I'm just opening another screen, bear with. All right. I'm going to place an alert if it takes these highs. What's this doing? Still nothing. Previous day open, this is better. Because the nice thing about previous day open is it's just below all of these lows here. Yeah? So a similar kind of situation to yesterday. And this is why we have it marked off. So NQ has reached a much better point of interest now. Here comes the alert. Yeah, XRP. Weekly. Weekly, I guess, is neutral. Daily, you got this. This is like point of control of this range. Out of all the altcoins out there, I really don't like the look of XRP here. I did back here. All right, there's the lows. NQ, is anything going to happen? Still so slow. But we have had the alert go off now. So we'd like to see a reaction from this. Still nothing happening when it comes to Bitcoin or Ethereum. Even though we've had a pretty decent pullback when it comes to equities, right? It's quite a nice pullback. Now, for me, right now, I really don't like taking any kind of position when I don't see like confirmation that I do like to be aggressive when the market is going in my favor. But I don't know if I would get a long entry until this is back up here now. I do. Now, when it was down here, I was just about to say I'd be very, very tempted just to start scaling into a long on the Nasdaq. Now, I tend to scalp, so as a scalper, I'm not seeing anything. But for a general position for the rest of this session, I'd be very, very tempted to be longing this. We can use this as an example. I'm just going to go. Where's my trading panel? Not there. All right. We're just going to do this as a let's see what happens and let's see what could be made on a single contract here if you were long. Now, I'm not really going to watch it. I'm not going to do anything like that. If I see better opportunities, then we can do this. But let's just have a look. And at least there's something to show on the screen of like, okay, this could be an example of like a trade that goes really well, or a trade that goes really, really, really badly. So I'm just going to let this run, see what happens with it. In the meantime, we're going to watch some other stuff. But to me, because we hit an alert, all right, that was where we placed the alert at the beginning. It's previous day open. That's what I was interested. We did take out the lows from yesterday, which is really, really nice. So session lows from yesterday. There is still a high probability that we do come and rotate back up towards these highs today. All right, you do not see the Nasdaq do this very often, where it just runs away and it doesn't come back in to correct any of this imbalance. So we do have this right now. So this is a kind of general thing. It's not the kind of trade I would normally like to do. But I kind of think it looks okay. It's not ideal, but I want to show something. I still don't really like this low. But the timing of where we're at and the fact that we did get a candle up here that it didn't break market structure or anything at this stage. But you could see the momentum, at least to the downside, had started to go here. I think at this stage, it would be a case of, like, if you're in this trade, you wanted to get out around here. If it did do that, again, if we do dip down below here, it should not be going back down below there. And again, we'll have a look at some alts again in a bit. It still is. This is what I mean about, like, I do quite like to often take trades against the trend initially. And generally speaking, it's 1 to 4 minutes. I'd be in and out of this. So what the market has to do now to actually make this decent is come back up here. I still don't like the look of this low, so it's like, it's one of those weird things. I don't really like the low that it's put in. It's certainly not a high quality trade for myself, but sometimes you can get some nice trades from not taking the best ones. If it comes and take this high, and we can get a few more. I mean, if you were to take this and you saw $550 profit, and that's just on one contract, you'd be taking that money. Go back to XRP here. What other altcoins do we have? So someone asked about ADA and FET. If anyone else has anything they want me to take a look at, then please do let me know. Doge. Yeah. This is pretty good strength from Bitcoin, right? We had that big, like, a pretty big move down from the NQ earlier. Where would you trade NQ with a live account if you weren't using Top Step, Top 1, etc., and not needing to use MT45? And not needing to use MT45. I don't know, like, okay, for a live account, any broker that you can trade that has a decent trading platform or that you can connect to TradingView, anything. Like, for me, it's just about, like, ease of use, right? That high is gone. So that is a trade for me. That's more than enough time that I would want to be in a trade like this. I would never ever use MT4. I'd never use anything like Tradeovate. I'd never use anything like C Trader. I've tried those things. I hate them. They're shit. It's a horrible user experience. So if you can connect direct to TradingView, so brokers like any of the ones that you can connect to TradingView, and this is the reason why I prefer to trade prop firms when it comes to NASDAQ. Because I only really trade one instrument. I only trade the NASDAQ when it comes to equities, so I don't need a broker that gives me a load of instruments because I'm only interested in one. This has gone blurry again, right? It's blurry. Yeah, I'm only interested in one market. There may be an occasion now and again where I would dip into the ES, but very, very rarely. And what else? So yeah, I don't need a broker that gives me a lot of options for things to trade, because I have crypto as an alternative. I'm a scalp trader, so I'm never needing to hold trades overnight. So again, prop firm is fine. Like I don't need a broker that allows me to hold overnight, because I would never hold overnight. When it comes to like equities, I have a much higher time frame outlook, so I'm more of an investor. I will hold things for the long term. So like if you think about trades that I've had on Nvidia, Tesla, I bought what was the one, however you say it, Lululemon, whatever it's called. Bought some of that the other day, but it's like I'm just waiting for a long time. So I'm not actively trading those. It's just a position that I'll watch now and again. And when it comes to that, I'm like super retail newbie. I use eToro and I use Revolut. I'm not trading stuff. Yeah, so that's it. If I'm trading, I'm just using prop. And when it comes to stocks, I'm not trading. I'm just holding, buying and holding, and then selling when they go high. Just buy low, sell high. It's not really a trade. All right, we wanted to look at ADA, USDT, and Doge. Yeah. Like, hey, look, we broke out. Ugh. So the thing is, like, yeah, Bitcoin broke all-time highs. Altcoins just still need to do a lot more to become even slightly interesting. The thing is, okay, for me, Cardano was great when we were down here and everyone was bearish. And again, I think this is something that I do have a long on ADA. Do I? No. I thought I did know. Yeah, it's got to do a hell of a lot more, even just to be slightly interesting here. And this is why, like, there's no need to FOMO right now, because if we are going to get like a decent move into price discovery on Bitcoin, and then crypto as a whole starts to follow, like, just wait for it to do a bit more. Wait for it to do a little bit more. Like, if you want to get into positions on altcoins, there's no need to start doing that like right now. I mean, you could, but when you've just taken out all-time highs, I don't really see the point. Yes, okay, you might need to be buying it a bit higher than it is right now. The market could just keep on moving up. But I would feel much more confident if Bitcoin starts exploring up here, right? Goes to 120, goes to 130. It drags altcoins with them. Yeah, but what you'll likely see, even if it drags altcoins with them, is the actual BTC pairs aren't that likely to like do any better, right? If anything, they're more likely to drop a little bit more again. Now, the ADA BTC pair does look very good. Okay? From a high time perspective, you're all the way back down to where you were like last year, November 2024. All right, we did have this rally. It's come all the way down. The selling, the momentum is gone here, but it's unlikely to start to really like power ahead for a while. Okay, Ethereum is one of those that's looking a little bit better, but a lot of these alts aren't looking very interesting. They need to do a lot more. They do need to do a lot more. So you could wait for ADA, USDT. You could wait for something like Cardano to be trading back above $1, back above 80 cents, back above some of this, like to be clearing through this POC, to be clearing some resistance. And then you'll find that maybe it starts to put in some kind of range here, and then you've got something to work off of a little bit more, which can give you some upside. So if you're not, like, if you have exposure already, good. Okay, the market does generally look pretty good, and still the upside reward is greater than the downside risk, or at least it has been recently. But the move we saw yesterday has basically brought everything from looking really good to just being neutral, just being like wait and see. Because yesterday, when it was down here, or a couple of days ago when it was down here, looks really good. It's a good price, right? 58 cents. Now you're at 62. You've missed it. You've missed this particular move. And it goes like, it's the same for most altcoins there. Like if you're long, cool. If you're long from down here, cool. It's probably not much you have to do here at this stage because we shouldn't be coming back down to these lows. Your invalidation's pretty cool. If you don't have exposure, just wait. Just wait. Like the market needs to do a lot more to prove itself. I'm just going back over onto this. Yeah, the market needs to do a lot more to prove itself. Doge. Let's have a look at Doge. It's going to be a similar situation because everything will have moved up in dollar value today. So the opportunity has gone for the time being to be looking at longs. It would be looking at shorts, but I don't think you're going to get much out of shorts either. So you could get day trade shorts. But if you want to talk higher time frame, and when I'm on stream, I'm generally looking at like higher time frame, because if you're watching a stream now and then I stream again in 7 days, if I was to look at a short on this stream, I don't know what that position is about. If I was to look at a short on this stream now, like that trade will have been done. It probably will be done by like within the next couple of days or so, right? Doge. Same kind of thing. Like this one, you're up in dollar value. It's come into a gap on the daily and it has to do a lot more. Now, this is interesting from a daily time frame, right? This is interesting. So what we had with Doge took all the internal lows, first of all. So from a bullish perspective, very, very nice, right? You didn't come back down here. So if you've been buying it down here, and again, it's a similar kind of thing for me. I have been, I have some exposure on Doge. I'm a little bit underwater on it. But we're looking at actual trades to take right now. It came down, took all the internal lows. It didn't invalidate anything that's like a much higher time frame perspective. Now for this, what we have here is a decent move up, then you're down. All right, you create this, you have a sweep of the highs, continuation lower. For this, we have a sweep of the highs here, so into a gap, into a gap. Now, do we get continuation lower? Where would you take this if you're short? The opportunity for longs internally would be down here. That would have been the good chance to get in. This is a good chance to get out of any trades that you're in right now. So Doge, similar. Opportunity for longs is gone. If you're looking for a short, you might not get very much out of it. And right now, like, you may find that you only get like another 2% down from any short that's taken right now. And your invalidation for this is really, really difficult. So you'd want to see more weakness. What is this done in like the 30-minute? 15. You can't do anything on it. You can't do anything with this right now. There's so much stuff that's looking like this today. And I did say this at the beginning of the stream. I was like, okay, the market looks pretty good, but I'm going to be neutral on all of this. Hype. Okay. This was the trade that I had on Hype. It came very close to $50, which was my target for it. If you're looking at a higher risk to reward trade, then honestly it would be a short that looks like this. But it's the same kind of thing. Like, it's dangerous. It's really, really dangerous. Like, Hype has been one of the best performing like altcoins, or probably the best performing altcoin over the last few months. It did break all-time highs. It has come back up into resistance again. You are within that golden pocket now. You have a trade that would look really quite decent. This could be, again, a really quite decent short. But it's risky. Because locally, we are still in an uptrend. So it's the same thing as the other alts. This is stronger. Okay, it's had more of a move up. And again, I'm in this trade. I think for myself, if we were going to get a dump, then that would be more so like, okay, if this happens, then I would think that's an absolute gift. All your volume's down here. So yeah, Hype as a trade right now, you would probably be looking something more like this. What else is there? This is the thing, we're on an up day, so most stuff has to be like, most stuff you would be looking at would be shorting on an up day. Sui. Is there a high probability that you come and take these lows? Probably not. But are you going to come straight up and take these highs before a pullback? Also probably not. So again, we're looking for a pullback here. Overall bullish over the next few weeks, months. But today as a day to be being bullish for the next few days, not the best time. If this is anchored VWAP also from these highs, yeah. Or why is that anchored to the low? Why is it anchored to the low? High, low, close 3. Update, please. Thank you. Close to it. It's a high volume node. Where are we from since we've been in a downtrend? Yeah. Any moving averages? MR, can you share your background and candle colors, please? Yeah. Write these down if you want them. Canvas. There's screenshot. Background. My background color didn't used to be that. I think it used to be like 222222222, or like 111111111. I think I just found something from somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, that's my background color. I think like one of these. I think yeah, 22222222222. I don't know why it's not still 2222222222222, because I thought that's what it was. Candles. This one. Screenshot it. And this one. Screenshot it. There you go. Cool. We're back to the 22222222222 background. Is it better? I don't know. Now I prefer this like slightly blue hue to the grubby grey, but never mind. Yeah, I prefer the blue. I've gone blurry again, haven't I? Why does I keep going blurry? What a boring little session. Everything's taking internal highs and just not doing anything more than that. The only thing that's really good is fucking Pengu, but even that's like a TP today. What's down? What's down today? Nothing that's actually liquid. That looks bad. S. As a long thing. Hey, fair play, actually. Again, it's not liquid. Sonic S. But as something that's down on the day and it has like minimal 20% risk to the downside, but the potential for maybe 60% up, at the very least 30% up. You're looking for something for today. The fact that that's like and even locally it's just this big drop below and then this consolidation here. That as a reversal, high volume 4 days in a row, and now just chilling. Now just chilling. S as something for right now maybe looks like it's okay, right? Can you trade S? Yeah. On the lower time frames, you could maybe even, I mean, because this is a range, you don't want to be like, now you know what, it shouldn't be coming back down below this. Let's say you're taking an entry right now. Let's see if there's still, what is there to work with on here? Again, not ideal, but it's one of the few that's like not just already up today, and one of the few that's still hanging around within this. Now that is weakness against a market that's been kind of strong. That would have been another really nice long. When you pivot like this and you break the market structure and you come, like, again, people in the crew, you know this, right? When you come down that low, it just becomes a real simple trade to take. The same here, where you could short this, you could use this local range here and keep on doing it until it breaks. So you could be looking for this. Right, even if it comes back up to here, you could be looking for this. It could come back up towards those highs. If it comes back down here again. And you've got decent confluence here. You have this VWAP. So you have a maybe little range playing out down here. So once again, like a potential trade that you could take from here. I want to see this go up a little bit before I hit any button. I think I might have just been a few seconds too late. Get out of the way. You could do this, right? So you'd very simply be looking at TP down here, and you keep your risk set around about like 300. Yeah, I've just taken out those highs. But it's a 2-to-1. And it's a maybe range. It's going to get stopped. What was this line? I'll wait for the alert in the background to tell me I've just been stopped out on that. Hold on. Just need to respond. Let's open this again. Okay, anything else for today? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up. Because I have other things I got to do before I go to bed. Because it's almost 11 p.m. I think this trade is probably a no right now. Wrap. Nasdaq long worked well, yeah. Nasdaq long was good. This trade not so much. There was reason behind it. You could, again, there's a good chance you get a couple of rotations before you get any like decent bounce from this. Fact is, it already did rotate once. Yeah, it is slow market. But that long was nice. And like I say, there is a high probability that within this session we're trading back up here again today. Okay? There is a high probability of that, and we saw what happened yesterday with it. Let's just see what happens here. I thought maybe you'd get an opportunity to get out there. But all right. Cool. I wanted just to see like if this trade gets stopped or if I just can close it or whatever. I know it's not an actual trade or whatever, but I don't want to be like just showing something that's not. Just end the stream here. I want to see just would it have done it, because again this is just something like it's just a kind of automatic trade for me. And the risk is always pretty fixed. There's no like actual technical invalidation for it. If I was to go for this gap up here, it's way too much. So it's just the kind of thing where I'm like, you know what? If it comes up and you lose 300 from a single contract, I'm just out of that trade, because you know you can always get another one. And like the win from earlier on was like very nice. So is that the session VWAP? Yeah, it's just the New York. So I've just put the VWAP on from New York. So again, it's a similar kind of thing. There's reason to be. Again, I don't really think we come down to these lows. I think a trade back in towards the midpoint of what could be a range here would be decent. But because you've had this VWAP that's running and because you're trading above there, it is an area in which to be looking to sell. And you're in the green now. When it's this kind of situation and you're not sure and the trade's in the green, hello, we'll watch it. In this kind of situation when the trade's green and you're not sure about it and you've been in the trade for a while and it's chopping back and forth and it's that kind of thing, for me it's just a cut. Like, just get out of it. Because what's the point in being greedy and waiting for like $600 profit? You can always get a trade that's a little bit better. And like I repeat a lot of the time, like I want to be in trades a few minutes. And when you're sat here and you're watching for ages and you're giving the market opportunity like it might do now, to like you've been under for a while and you get the opportunity to get some profit from it, it does take out some local lows. You just take it. You would just take that. Take the money. Go on to the next trade. Because it's like back here, you saw good reaction, you're in the green, you can let this trade run into the target. But when you're under for a little bit and it's like diddly daddly doo 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 messing around, just get out of the trade. Like here, if you've gone long from the lows and you just boom, you're straight in, and you're not getting out. Like you don't need to get out at this point. But this will be a good example of it. When things are uncertain and you get the opportunity to get out in profit, get out in profit. Especially when it does this, yeah? Because now this is how you mess up. It's still trying to let me get away with it. Again, remember this is just an example. Just hurry up. So I can end the stream. I should have just closed it here when I said I was going to close it. You know what? All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. So yeah, thank you everybody. There we go. Thank you everybody for watching. And yeah, I'll be back again soon. So there's nothing more to say. Very slow. So cheers guys. See you in a bit. Bye bye.